And happy Boxing Day to you all. Welcome to our major news broadcast this Boxing Day. I am Adewole Dusumu. First, the highlights. President Tinubu hails $1.26 billion funding deal for Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway. National Assembly begins internal review of disputed tax laws, orders fresh Gazette publication. Federal government reshuffles NCAA directors amid corruption allegations. Malaysian judge jails ex-Prime Minister Najib Razak 15 years for fraud. Peace on earth will come to stay when we leave Christmas every day. You can now watch us live on our website www.ogtv.com.ng/live. For the latest news and reports, check us on these platforms: X at Ogtv, Facebook Ogun State Television, YouTube at Ogtv Abeokuta, and TikTok at Ogun State Television. President Bola Tinubu has commended the successful closure of the $1.26 billion financing deal for Phase 1, Section 2 of the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway, describing the achievement as a major boost to Nigeria's infrastructure drive. In a statement issued by his Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga, the President praised the Federal Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Works, and the Debt Management Office for their collaboration in securing the funding, noting that the milestone will ensure uninterrupted progress on the project. Highlighting the transformative potential of the road, Ononuga stated that the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway is one of President Bola Tinubu's best gifts to Nigeria. Tinubu noted that the financing milestone demonstrated his administration's commitment to exploring innovative funding options for critical national projects, and emphasized that the highway remains central to the government's economic and infrastructure agenda. Phase 1, Section 2 of the project spans approximately 55.7 kilometers, linking Eleko in Lekki to Odeomi. The National Assembly has initiated an internal investigation into allegations that certain provisions of the recently passed tax reform laws were altered after approval by lawmakers and presidential assent. The move followed growing public controversy over the legislative process that led to the passage, assent, and gazetting of the Nigeria Tax Act 2025, the Nigeria Tax Administration Act 2025, the Joint Revenue Board of Nigeria Establishment Act 2025, and the Nigeria Revenue Service Establishment Act 2025. The development was disclosed in a statement issued in Abuja by the Director of Information for the Senate, Bulahadu Bihalla. According to the statement, concerns had raised the public space over the harmonization of the bills passed by both chambers of the National Assembly, the asset granted by the President, and the versions of the acts subsequently published in the official Gazette. It added that the relevant committees of the National Assembly, working with its management, had commenced an internal review to clarify the issues raised. The National Assembly further clarified that the review did not imply any defect in the exercise of legislative powers by either chamber, nor did it encroach on the responsibilities of other arms of government. The Arewa community in Ogun State has presented a check of 20 million naira to Governor Dapo Abiodun in support of the purchase of his Ogun East 2027 senatorial expression of interest and nomination farm. The donation was part of the community's endorsement of the governorship leadership style and policies, which they said have strengthened religious tolerance, ethnic harmony, and economic development across the state. Governor's Office correspondent Yusuf Ganiu reports.
In the spirit of the Christmas season, and as a demonstration of goodwill, the Ariwa community in Ogun State presents a check of 20 million naira to Governor Dakmo Abiodun in support of his Ogun East 2027 senatorial ambition. Speaking on behalf of the community, the Director General Southwest Ariwa Community for the Good Hope Agenda 2027, Alhaji Sheikh Usman, said the gesture reflects their appreciation of the governor's policies and programs over the past 6 years, which he notes have repositioned Ogun State economically and socially. Alhaji Sheikh Usman adds that since the inception of the current administration, Governor Abiodun has promoted peace, tolerance, and inclusion by formally recognizing and appointing leaders of various ethnic, religious, and traditional groups, including Hausa, Igbo, Muslim, and Christian communities to interface with government.
The governor has done exceptionally very well. The non-Indigenous in the state are doing so well. There has not been any misunderstanding. There has not been any chaos since I assumed the governor of Ogun State between the northerners and the southerners, and that gives us hope. It's not about the governor giving us money. It's not about giving, but at least the peace we have, that we can trade with our two eyes closed, that we can go to schools, that they can treat us just as normal citizens of the state, is exceptional. So I think that the best thing we can do is just surprise the governor today with a check of 20 million naira, at least for his bid for the next coming election, which we believe is going to contest for the senator. Even though the governor did not tell us, but I believe he has served the state very well, and there's need for him to also serve his constituency as well better.
The special advisor to the governor on inter-ethnic affairs also attributes the donation to the state's growing economy, improved security, and influx of investment across Ogun State, which he says have created opportunities for residents.
And it has created an avenue for us to manage our activities, to ensure our people abide by the law. And it creates so much opportunity for our people across all board. That's why we call ourselves all together, from our Serikis, imams, our market leaders, and we the political gladiators. We come together to say we have to reciprocate this gesture of His Excellency, President Abiodun, and we now look into what do we think is going to be his next thing, and we are hoping and praying he contests for the Senate for Ogun East, here come 2027.
Responding, Ogun State Governor President Abiodun described the donation coming during the celebration of the birth of Jesus Christ as an unexpected and heartwarming Christmas gift. Governor Abiodun says the relationship between his administration and the northern community in the state has been exemplary, marked by mutual respect, intertribal harmony, and religious tolerance.
I am completely so I'm shocked. I'm trying to find what to describe how I feel. It's not usual for me to be given that much. I accept gifts from people and I appreciate them. And I've been getting gifts from so many, all in country, across the state and country. But this is one gift that is exceptional.
While appreciating the Ariwa community for the 20 million naira donation in support of his 2027 senatorial ambition, the governor said the gesture is a validation that his administration is on the right path, as he reiterated his commitment to doing more advance the development of Ogun State. Yusuf Ganiyu, Ogtv News.
Christmas celebrations continue across the state as families and organizations come together to reflect on the values of love, unity, and gratitude that define the season. One of such gatherings took place at the residence of Barrister Ibidakwo Dukoya, where guests converge for Christmas party marked by worship, games, and social interactions. Tony Ogundike's report is presented from the studio.
The spirit of Christmas came alive at the Barrister Ibidakwo Odukoya house as guests gathered in an atmosphere filled with joy, warmth, and togetherness. The celebration featured a blend of worship, games, and entertainment, all carefully designed to foster unity and cheer among participants. Highlights of the event include traditional games such as Ayolokmo, Ludo, and the intellectually engaging Ultimate Search, with guests of all ages participating enthusiastically. At the end of the competitions, winners emerge in first, second, and third positions, receiving prizes amid cheers and applause from the audience.
Today is the first time I came here. Then I was very happy that I won this Ludo competition. God will bless him more than his expectation.
Beyond the games, the celebration also placed strong emphasis on spirituality as a preacher delivers a Christmas message centered on love, peace, and the true meaning of the birth of Jesus Christ.
Simply, I make the people to be aware of the fact that the reason for Christmas is actually Christ. That without Christ, there's nothing like Christmas.
Guests at the event commended the organizers for the thoughtful blend of spirituality, culture, and recreation.
It's a yearly thing for me. I come here to celebrate with him every year. And today is not an exception.
Odukoya has been my brother, my father from the young birth. He has been taking good care of us, and since he has been celebrating, I have not missed it.
I wasn't here last year, but I was here a year before. But I know there is an improvement, highly an improvement, because year before there was no game arrangement.
Barrister Ibidakpo Ogtv and members of his family expressed gratitude to God and appreciation to guests for turning out, noting that the celebration is aimed at strengthening bonds and spreading joy during the festive season.
I want to tell you that this year is also special because on the 15th of August this year, I was traveling back to Ogiri and I had a fatal accident. Only God saved us. And because of that, we felt that we must make this year's celebration a special one.
I want to say that people should not forget the reason for this season. And the reason is Jesus came to save us.
The 2025 annual Christmas celebration at the Barrister Ibidakpo Ogtv House once again.
General Uluremi Uluyede, the Chief of Defense Staff, and Lieutenant General Wadi Shamar Abubakar, the Commander Armor Corps of the Nigerian Army, represented the DO at the event. The CDS commended the commitment and resilience of troops of GTF UPEP towards ending insecurity in Plateau, some parts of Kaduna and Bauchi states. It further urged troops to remain vigilant, disciplined, and proactive, adding that criminal elements often seek to exploit festive periods to undermine peace and security. The CDS called for stronger collaboration with other security agencies and positive engagement with local communities, adding that the people's trust is essential to achieving an enduring peace. He promised to continually prioritize the welfare of personnel and their families, assuring that efforts were ongoing towards improving the living and working conditions of the troops. Something remarkable is quietly taking shape within the Ministry of Agriculture in Ogun State. Although construction is still ongoing and not yet widely known, the scale and impact of this initiative deserve attention and commendation. When completed, these upgraded farm settlements are expected to significantly boost agricultural production and strengthen food security across the state. The project, executed under the Ogun State Economic Transformation Project, is being implemented in 22 different locations statewide. It is a well-managed and carefully executed initiative designed to transform the agricultural landscape and improve farmers' productivity. Bumi Adigu takes us on a tour of 2 of these 22 ongoing projects. His report.
The Ogun State Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security operates in line with the state agricultural policy document conceived and launched in April 1989. Its key policy thrusts include enhancing self-sufficiency in food production, providing raw materials for agro-based industries, generating employment opportunities, and increasing exports to boost foreign exchange earnings. The Ogun State Economic Transformation Project, Ogtv, is a World Bank-assisted initiative implemented in line with the Ogun State Development Plan 2017 to 2030 reform agenda.
Today, agribusiness firms of agricultural produce under this project.
What many may describe as one of the remarkable developments emerging from the ministry is this intervention, which promises to significantly reduce the burden on farmers. The initiative is being replicated across 22 locations in Ogun State. Strategically, the projects are sited within existing farm settlements, a move expected to revive and reposition these settlements for greater productivity. Ajegunle Farm Settlement along Kenta Ajebo Road is already wearing a new look with the development of a livestock cluster.
It was established by Chief Obafemi Awolowo in the late 50s, and it's been surviving. It's been a farm settlement of about 400 farmers, and here we are. Basically, recently we have been designated as livestock hub, which means everything livestock is our primary production here.
A poultry processing center is currently under construction at the site.
But what this project will do for us is going to take farmers off debt. Now, in those days, when you produce broilers, if there are no off-takers, no buyer, what do? You keep feeding, and you are losing money. But now with what we have here, this is Ajegunle Poultry Processing Center.
Also underway is a gari processing facility reflecting the farming activities in the settlement and the presence of cassava farmers in the area.
This is our warehouse. The warehouse serves many purposes. It's supposed to be for light packaging processes. And the beautiful thing about all this is all off-grid. You could see there, we have 1 megahertz solar panel unit to give electricity to this place 24 hours without any interference.
The second visit was to Eweje Farm Settlement in other local government area where another poultry pen project is ongoing.
You know, the facility in Odeda Eweje is a 100,000 capacity broiler pen, and also in that particular facility we have 5 residences, 5 bungalows with 4 bedrooms each, and all the allied services. Don't forget that that institution is a training facility, and we also have existing pen. We have existing pens in that facility before now. So by and large in that facility we have about 120,000 broiler capacity in that facility. Also in Topon, in Ijebubo, we have a 10,000 broiler capacity. In Mosafejo, in Laro as well, we have about 20,000 broiler capacity. In Ajegunle Farm Settlement, we have a 5,000 chicken processing facility being concluded. That is, you can process 5,000 chicken per day. By and large, His Excellency, in his wisdom, is using this to expand the gap that Ogun State already has in terms of poultry productivity in Nigeria.
These 2 projects out of the 22 spread across Ogun State give a clear picture of what is being replicated in other zones and what to expect upon completion. Bumi Adigun, Ogtv News.
Still ahead on the news, federal government confirms U.S. airstrikes on terrorist sites and cites intelligence cooperation. Details of these and more will be served after the break.
Mogo Bible.
Victor, you they use money point?
Of course now, they use money point.
Confirmed.
Money point, made for your progress.
To know that you are still there, and in case you're just joining us, you're watching the major news broadcast. Residents of Borno State and Nigerians nationwide that the federal government remains resolute in its duty to protect lives and property following a bomb explosion at Gamburu Market in Maiduguri on Wednesday. This is just as the Vice President commiserated with some of the blast victims receiving treatment at the hospital and conveyed Senator Shetima spoke in Maiduguri after visiting survivors of the attack who are receiving treatment at the Muhammadu Buhari Trauma Center, University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital, on behalf of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Visibly moved by the conditions of the victims, Senator Shetima described the attack as senseless violence and reaffirmed the federal government's determination to end insecurity in the state and across the country. The Vice President commended Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Zulum for his sustained efforts in addressing security and humanitarian challenges in the state, noting that the federal government would continue to strengthen collaboration with the state to achieve lasting peace. Briefing the Vice President during the visit, Chief Medical Director of the University of Maiduguri Teaching Hospital said 14 patients were admitted following the blast, with one patient dying shortly after arrival. The federal government has confirmed ongoing security and intelligence cooperation between Nigeria and the United States following airstrikes that hit terrorist targets in Nigeria's northwest. In a statement, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs said Nigerian authorities remain engaged in structured security cooperation with international partners, including the United States of America, to address terrorism and violent extremism in the country. The ministry said the collaboration, which led to the precision airstrikes on terrorist targets, involves intelligence sharing, strategic coordination, and other forms of support in line with international law, respect for Nigeria's sovereignty, and shared security commitment. It added that terrorist violence, whether directed at Christians, Muslims, or other communities, remain an affront to Nigeria's values and to international peace and security. The statement followed comments by United States President Donald Trump, who said that U.S. forces had carried out deadly strikes against Islamic State terrorists in northwestern Nigeria. Meanwhile, Nigeria has signaled more strikes against jihadist groups, and they were expected after Christmas Day bombing by U.S. forces against militants in the north of the country, which is said was a joint cooperation with its military. The West African Community Forces multiple interlinked security crises in its north, where jihadists have been waging an insurgency in the northeast since 2009, and armed bandit gangs raid villages and stage kidnappings in the northwest. The U.S. strikes come after Abuja and Washington were locked in on a diplomatic dispute over what Trump characterized as the mass killing of Christians amid Nigeria's myriad armed conflicts. Nigeria's military said in a statement that its forces, in conjunction with the United States, conducted precision strike operations against identified foreign ISIS-linked elements in northwest Nigeria. Washington's framing of the violence as amounting to Christian persecution is rejected by the Nigerian government and independent analysts, but has nonetheless resulted in increased security coordination. Asked if there would be more strikes, Toga said it is an ongoing thing, and we're working with the U.S. as we're working with other countries as well. The Ogun Area Command of the Nigeria Customs Service recorded a major breach in public health through sustained enforcement of customs regulations. The seizures described by the command as a significant success followed intensified anti-smuggling operations along key border routes notorious for illegal trade activities. Bumi Adigo completes the story.
The Nigeria Customs Service is constitutionally mandated to safeguard the nation's borders, protect the economy, and ensure responsibility is being reinforced through sustained anti-smuggling operations aimed at securing border communities and promoting lawful trade. Officers of the Nigeria Customs Service Ogun 1 Area Command have recorded a major breakthrough with the interception of contraband goods valued at over 2 billion naira.
In my inaugural speech, I made it clear to economic saboteurs who may wish to test our resolve that Ogun 1, under my command, will not tolerate any form of economic sabotage. I made a pledge to deploy all lawful means to combat smuggling and enforce compliance with extant trade laws and regulations, and that our
acting controller assured that the command will not tolerate economic sabotage and will continue to deploy all lawful means to enforce compliance. He added that seized cannabis was handed over to the NDLEA in line with interagency collaboration, while commending the Comptroller General of Customs, Bashir Adeni, officers, sister agencies, and host communities for their support, expressing confidence that sustained cooperation will further strengthen border security and economic protection. Bumi Adigun, Ogtv News.
Grammy-winning Malian superstar Mono Sage is enjoying a fresh wave of fame in Nigeria as a 1996 hit song, Kofeko, suddenly goes viral. Nearly 3 decades after its release, the track has found new life on TikTok and Instagram, where millions of young Nigerians are using it in dance challenges, fashion videos, and nostalgic throwback clips. Music lovers say the song's renewed popularity shows the timeless power of African classics, with many praising Sage's unique voice and message of cultural pride. Generations. Glimpses this week serves us more.
African music has always carried a power that transcends borders, its rhythms rooted in history, its melodies woven with identity, and its stories echoing across generations and entertainment. They are a heartbeat, a memory, a spiritual language that binds the continent together. Today, that strength is once again on display, reminding the world of the timeless force of African artistry. Familiar voice has risen from the past and captured Nigeria's digital soundscape. Omo Sangwe surged back into the spotlight, going viral nearly 3 decades after its release. Its haunting vocals and hypnotic Wasilo rhythms have found fresh meaning in a new genre. Across social media, Nigerians are interpreting the song in their own ways, some dancing to its ancient pulse, others blending it with modern Afrobeats, and many using it as a soundtrack for reflection, beauty, humor, or protest. Each recreation
forces PwC's role in supporting organizations to comply and report with confidence. International monetary transfer operator inflows into Nigeria fell by 11.78% in the first half of 2025 compared with the same period of 2024, according to new figures from the Central Bank of Nigeria's latest quarterly statistical bulletin. An analysis of the data showed that IMTO receipts totaled $2.07 billion between January and June 2025, down from $2.37 billion recorded in the corresponding period of 2024. This represents a decline of about $275.93 million year-on-year, showing pressure in an important non-oil foreign exchange source at a time the monetary authorities are banking on remittances to support market liquidity. A monthly breakdown of the figures seen by pressmen showed that the decline was uneven over the period, with only 1 month recording growth. In January 2025, IMTO inflows dropped to $281.97 from $390.86 million in January 2024, a 27.86% decline. February receipts also weakened, declining by 11.65% to $288.82 million from $326.91 million a year earlier. The downward trend continued in March, when inflows fell to $317.60 million compared with $363.78 million in March 2024, representing a 12.69% decline. The Petroleum Products Retail Outlets Owners Association of Nigeria has renewed its call for the privatization of Nigeria's 4 state-owned refineries, urging the federal government to transparently conclude the process by the first quarter of 2026. The association said the timely privatization of the refineries operated by the Nigerian expertise and align Nigeria's refining sector with global best practices. In a statement, the Petron National President, Billy Gillis-Harris, said sustained public funding of the refineries has failed to deliver optimal results over the years, making private sector-led management inevitable, and if the country is to achieve energy security and stability in the downstream petroleum sector. Gillis-Harris stressed that privatization, if properly executed, would encourage competition, ensure sustainable refinery operations, reduce Nigeria's dependence on imported petroleum products, conserve foreign exchange, and support job creation across the value chain. Banks have warned their customers to be wary of fraudulent activities during the seasonal festivities. The warning was contained in emails and content on their social media. According to Fishme, coffin scams become rife during holidays, due to the plethora activities marking the end of year. The methods of scams can involve criminals posing as trusted companies or contacts to steal personal information, credentials, and money via emails or messages that encourage victims to click links, provide sensitive data, or download malware. Warning bank customers against falling for the tricks of the fraudsters, First Bank, in an email to its customers, said it has observed new fraud trends. And moving to the foreign scene now, former Malaysian Prime Minister Najib Razak has been jailed for 15 years for abuse of power and money laundering in his second major trial for a multi-billion-dollar state funds scandal. Also, Ukraine's Volodymyr Zelensky has said he will meet U.S. President Donald Trump in Florida at the weekend as talks continue on ending Russia's full-scale war. Damilario Keji will now serve us the details on the foreign scene.
Former Malaysian Prime Minister Najib Razak has been jailed for 15 years for abuse of power and money laundering